evening news, my wife gets a phone call
Hmm.
and she's gone on with this person and talking about her Medicare card. And I could hear this conversation. So I said, "Who are you talking to? Do you know this person?" And let's hit the got it button. Um, she said, "Here, you talk to them." So she handed the phone over to me, and there's a person on the other end with an obvious accent gone on about, "Have you got your new Medicare card?" And I said to her, "No, I didn't think we needed a new Medicare card." And she said, "Oh, we've got to get you a new Medicare card." And I said, "Wait a minute. Medicare doesn't deal with these kind of notices this way. What are you doing?" And she hung up on me. So just be alert. I mean, because we're as old as we are, it's like you have a target on your back for this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I've not, maybe this is wrong, but if I can, I like to play these people along, and I've done this in the past. One, because they deserve it or more, and the other because the longer you can tie them up, the less time they have to go after somebody else. But they're so brazen. It reminds me of all that keeps going on out there, and it's frustrating because there doesn't seem to be any kind of a universal solution. You're really on your own to nip this stuff in the bud. And if it doesn't sound right, hang up and go to a known source for whatever it is they're calling you about. In this case, it would be, the .gov uh, connection for Medicare or for Social Security or for whatever it is. So they
Yeah.
called the wrong person in this case, but I'm sure they hook a lot of people. And there's been stuff on TV the last couple of days about these love connections and how women have been taken in by this stuff. It's frustrating.
Hmm. And know there was a article and dive into some of these people are stuck working for casinos in China, and how the Chinese government like has or these casino people in China have basically enslaved people to do this kind of calling and stuff. So it it's one of those that somebody needs to go after these executives or high up people, because these people
Yeah.
actually doing phones might be victims themselves. So,
Well, the love connections,
hmm.
these callers are actually from two African countries, Nigeria being one.
Hmm.
Nigeria is notorious going back 50 years, first through the mails and then through the internet for this kind of stuff. And it just keeps going on.
They adapt it and tweak it and try
Yeah,
to trick you again.
they
Thank you
steal
for the
pictures.
reminder.
Yeah,
Be vigilant. If something is getting you emotionally freaked out, pause and hang up and call again.
yeah. Call something you know for sure.
Hmm. But
It's hard when your parents raised you to be polite and
Yeah,
you're answering the phone and you're getting that little, I don't know about this, but I'm sorry, Lynn, you've taught me to be skeptical about everybody. If they don't identify on the caller ID as
I don't
someone
answer
I
it.
know,
Yeah.
um, and they know somehow our names are known, and they'll say, is this Betty Ann? And I'll say, who's calling? Just kind of roughly like that. And then if it's somebody I need, like it's the receptionist for a handyman or something, I will apologize and say, I'm sorry, it's just I have to be, and they completely understand. And if it's somebody that I don't want to talk to, they will mumble something and try to correct whatever impression I have, and I just hang up. I say no,
Yep.
thank you.
My phone has a thing on it where when I'm getting a call, I can tell them to text me. And I do that a lot. And anymore, they're all landlines. They want to charge you to text them. And I just let it go at that. But my wife used to get upset with me when I just hung up on them. She thought,
I
Now-
don't even answer the phone. I don't know
yeah,
why you guys are even answering the phone. Because if they want to get in touch with you, they will leave you a message.
That's
So if
right.
I don't recognize a phone number or the person, I just do not answer ever.
From
Well-
another era, I got a call and it was asking for donations. And I'm like you, Betty Ann, I was taught to be polite. And she just was not taking any no from me. And so I said, I'm really sorry. I don't want to be impolite and hang up on you, but I'm not interested. It must be hard on you getting hung up on all the time. And she went into a personal phone call and she says, well, in our training, we're taught to keep talking until somebody hangs up on us.
Oh,
So,
have it.
either you succeed or you get hung up on. You're trained for both ways. So I think we shouldn't feel guilty at hanging up on people. And especially now that we're in the era we are.
Mhm.
and since we're on the topic of phone calls that we don't want, I was just reminded by someone on Facebook that one of the biggest scams they have is to say, can you hear me? And then if you answer yes, they can record you saying yes and do all kinds of things with your voice, which leads me to another question. This is kind of silly, but again,
No
Lynn,
slave
you're
question.
making me so paranoid. So I have a landline, I have an answering machine, which I like.
Mhm.
And I have my voice on it, just not even saying whose house you've reached, but just, hello, we're not home right. Oh, we can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Could somebody record my voice from that, since I know they're doing so much with AI?
Mhm.
that's a good point.
It's a very good question. I would
Interesting.
suspect they could, yes.
That's what I would guess.
Any suggestions how I could change that?
Yeah, because I always appreciate when people actually have personalized messages rather than the phone number, because I'm like, did I call the right person? Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, make it as vague as possible. Sorry, we can't come to your phone. But don't say yes, no, or give full names, probably.
Just shorten it to leave a message, because I'm a grumpy old woman. I could say that.
Please call back.
Yes.
I heard one of the shortest voicemail messages was, hello, your turn.
Ah,
Or you could do the Seinfeld, please leave a message at the beep. I forget what there was some funky little jingle they did. But yes,
Yeah,
that's a
or you-
very good point, Betty Anna.
Yeah.
But
I had a friend who had a very funny father. I might have mentioned this before, but way back when we started having these things, and he would always answer the phone. Moriarty's funeral parlor.
We're
You
good to
slay 'em,
go?
we slab 'em.
Okay.
And people would either be amused or horrified at that. But he was such a gentle, sweet person. But that was his message.
that reminds me of the old one about hello, summer home, summer not.
I like that one.
That's good.
hmm but and you do need to be careful while we are on phone calls, because now they can with AI get people's voices and manipulate people's voices to personalize people. So they could take information of my voice and use it to call you and say, "Hey, it's Lynn George from Westminster." So
Who? Who?
give me
I don't know
donations.
anybody by that name.
Yeah. So, granted, that's slowly coming, but in the next few years, that will probably be more relevant. They did, you probably read, they did that to President Biden, in one of the states that was doing the primary. So,
And
Lynn,
again, since we have,
Be-
go ahead.
go ahead, Betty Ann.
I was just going to add, since we're talking about spam and phony calls and things, I noticed on my email, my spam folder catches a lot of things before I have to deal with them, and then I can just go back and look later and make sure there isn't something there I want to retrieve. But some still sneak through, and I started in the last 2 weeks noticing a pattern.
mhm.
And I don't want to take the time. I mean, I could do it. I don't know if it'll take longer than just talking about it, but I just noticed that on the address, you told us to look at the address for things that stand out that might be questionable. And just naming a few people or places that it was from: Dr. Marlene, Service Plus, Dish TV, Lexington Law, ADT Security, Globe Life, all different people or companies that it was from. But when you look at the address, every single one had the word, the phrase squeezed together like a sentence: shop plus store.
Mm.
So there's nothing in common except that address. So when I started seeing it in my email, I'd immediately send it to spam. How do you think they did that? Not that it matters, but I wonder if anybody else noticed a common thread like that.
I wonder if they realize that your email might think shop is a promotional thing that you want from a company, right? So they go, "Oh, that will go in your promotions folder for, it might be some store that you've signed up for promotions or coupons."
Not that I could think of, no.
It's one of those, that's a theory that maybe that's why it's not getting filtered into your spam.
Yeah.
So interesting to see. We'll have to see if that happens more often. Typically, I find they're all emails. But, and last thing about phone calls and things, if you're one that doesn't want to answer the phone, you can set your phone as a reminder to silence unknown numbers. So it doesn't even ring your phone call. So you can bypass all that. Granted, that's just cell phones, but
Can you do that on a landline?
I
Yeah, that's what I'm
don't
thinking.
think
No.
so.
No, I don't think so.
No,
Yeah.
That's old tech. I don't know old tech.
My cell phone, yeah, right. My cell phone, I just block the caller if it's somebody that,
Right.
has-
No.
I have a problem with that with the house in North Carolina because I'm always needing to do something remote because I'm not there that much, especially right now. And getting calls from contractors or the termite control people and stuff like that. And they're coming from what the heck's the area code down there? Anyway, that's one of the reasons I use the please text me feature in case it is somebody I need to, just to make it a little easier for them. But yeah, you get a lot of calls from other area codes, and that's always questionable. But some of them are from 302 or 610 that are bogus because they're able to set up numbers and tap into those other numbers.
So I just Googled and it looks like landline, if it's a POTS landline, which I don't know what POTS is, you can follow the prompts in your voicemail setup to send it to a certain number of rings, and you can lower the number of rings that it will call before it goes to the answering machine. Or
Well,
call the
remember, some of us are not your age and it takes us a little longer to go to the phone if we're not sitting right next to it. I
This is
need
true.
4 rings to make sure I get there.
Yeah, it's just if you wanted to send it straight to voicemail for on your landline, that you could lower the number of rings if that's something you want. So you don't have time to get there. Or at one of these says you can call customer service and they can change the number of rings as well. That's according to one website. I don't know how accurate it is. Anyway, things to look into. But any other phishing conversations or things you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to bring you up to speed on Bev's problem with McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
I went into her system and made sure that the pop-up blocker was working.
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded an ad blocker and
Mhm.
installed that. I restarted the computer. She's still getting ads.
You're still getting the pop-ups when you said
Still getting the pop-up with the doggy
Dog
and others.
twice this morning before I got on the Zoom.
does it have that little button that we used to have that we clicked on last time that says do not show again?
Yeah.
And if you do that again, it still misbehaves.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's something on it and you have to take it to a computer doctor to have them do the
And like I
advanced.
said, I scanned the computer for malware and
Mhm.
virus.
Mm-hmm.
We did a restart several times. And, it keeps coming back. I mean, you can get rid of it. It's just a couple extra clicks, but it's annoying that it keeps coming back. And I've searched the hard drive. There's
Mhm.
nothing on the hard drive that says McAfee
Mm-hmm.
or Norton, who owns it.
Right.
So I don't know where it's coming from, where it's hiding, how to get rid of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I really don't feel like paying somebody at Geek Squad to figure it out for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
Unless I can use Connie's account, the Geek
Yeah,
Squad.
right, haha.
Yeah. That makes me think that there's malware on it that the malware catcher is not catching because it's so hidden in the computer that
Yeah,
the
I
only
mean,
way to remove it is to completely wipe the computer and start over. But then you lose your files if you don't have a recent backup. Or going to Geek Squad or Computer Geek and they can do the advanced coding stuff that's above my pay grade. But then you're paying for something.
yeah, I don't know what more that I can do myself
Mm-hmm.
to basically get rid of this thing. It's
One
more
thing
of
that
an annoyance than I think that it's doing any harm. But I can't figure out how to make it stop.
one thing you could try if you don't have a recent backup, it might bring it back over, but to move all of your hard files, your Word documents and photos and things to a backup external drive, and then wipe the computer and then move all those files back on the computer. It may bring if it depending on how it's on there, it might still bring it over, but it would be
Yeah.
one way to do that. But
And that would be an all-day job, probably. I
How
mean, I have the ex-
expensive is a Geek Squad, never having
Yeah.
used one?
I have the external hard drive space. That's not an issue at all. I'm just not sure how much time it's gonna take and whether excuse me, if in long term, it's gonna be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I say right now, unless Bev has something more to say about it, it's nothing more than a nuisance, I think. I don't believe
Mhm.
that it's doing anything to the machine.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't noticed it doing anything other than just popping up and being annoying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, about 3 clicks, two to 3 clicks, and it's gone until the next time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as I understand it, there's no specific sequence of time until it comes back again, nor is there a specific keystroke / computer action that makes it pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw last week that it was coming up even when you weren't doing anything,
Yeah,
Right.
like
That's about right.
15, 20 seconds.
yeah.
Yep.
Because after what we did last week, I don't think I told all of you after what we did last week, and with Lynn trying to, thinking that she turned it off, and then when she said, "Don't show me this again," we no more than shut down this meeting until Bev says to me, "It's back."
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I clicked out of the Zoom box, it popped right back up.
Yeah. Which makes me think it is malware buried on there somehow. Yes, Connie?
I have a question. How expensive is the Geek Squad? I've never used one, so I don't know. I mean, how Scots are you being about this?
I was
I
wondering
don't
that.
have any firsthand knowledge of how expensive they are.
We have
So
it. What is it, Gene?
I'm guessing they're not inexpensive, but I don't know that for a fact.
Hmm.
I was going to suggest, if it's frustrating enough, one of you could give to the other one for the next event, whether it be a birthday or Memorial
Mother's
Day. Give a gift certificate to some computer doctor.
Mhm.
I'm
We
lobbying for a new computer.
we're members of Geek Squad, and I think it's $179 a year, and it's unlimited number of calls, or you can take it in. Somehow or other, I feel more comfortable taking ours in. But they've always resolved our problems. We've never had anything like that, but we like them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Apple Care is the same thing if you're an Apple person.
Right.
But it's one of those, is it saving you time? Is it worth the money because you're going to spend the whole day trying to fix it? Or how many times you have to close it and it annoys you? But decisions to weigh on.
Yeah.
But depending how long you're going to keep this computer, it might not be worth trying to resolve either. And I know Betty Ann's really like the store in Westchester, the local store, but I can't remember what it's called.
You Break, I Fix. It's a Samsung authorized store, and I had a Samsung cell phone. So when I had a problem with that, I took it in and they fixed it, and there was no charge. They do laptops and tablets and everything. I don't know. Now, my computer is not a Samsung, it's an Acer, so I don't know if I had a problem with that, what that would cost. But I really like their service, and so I'll go again.
Where's that located?
Do you remember where Pescatories was on 202 going south towards Delaware line? Or Chad's Ford Shops, or
Yes.
okay, it's on the right just before that.
Oh,
Pescatories has changed its name to it's a seafood name. I don't know, but it's in a little shopping center there. If you look up just the letter, you break, I fix.
Oh, just the letter.
It's letters, like a you break, I fix, all run together. And they've helped me a couple of times. One time when I didn't realize my problem was that my battery was just dying. They could have fixed that immediately. They were out of my batteries and they had to order that. And I did pay for the battery, but other than that, everything was taken care of.
I also have transported Dan Wilcox's computer to Westchester's Computer Doctors on Market Street, and they were very helpful and accommodating when I worked with them for Dan Wilcox. So I don't know their pricing or things like that either, but
There's a place over near the Government Services Building called Second Source.
Yeah.
They used to be out on Route 3 in a little shopping center right by Ellis Lane. Way back in the day, I stopped in there and asked them questions on how to solve some problem. And they made a couple suggestions that happened to fortunately work. And I didn't pay them anything, but they have since moved and they work on both Macs and PCs. So I may just stop in there and ask them sometime what they might suggest
mhm,
before I would take her laptop in to them to see if they could do anything with it. But
mhm,
that's another option.
mhm,
I used them too, and I was very impressed when I was in the market for a new computer, a new laptop. And the young man there was leading me to, there's a computer store up in St. David's. I can't remember the name of it, but it has all kinds of computers. And he said, first of all, I'm going to send you there, but you tell me what you do on the computer and we'll find one that meets your needs. And he wasn't even selling me a computer in a store. They did have rebuilt ones he could have sent me. But just with the few things I told him, like I don't do games, I don't do music, I do genealogical research, and I do YouTube stuff and do the news, and that's about it. Watch shows that I've missed.
Painting.
So he said, he looked, so he took me over to a laptop and he went to that computer store and he told me that he likes what I ended up getting, the Acer something, ACER.
Mhm.
And he said, oh, look, and it's on sale and it's probably not going to be on sale much longer. So I strongly suggest you go there now. Now, he got no commission. I didn't pay him a penny for his advice, but he saved me a lot of time and research. He said, and this is so strong. He said, I could take this laptop and throw it on the floor and it wouldn't break because it's solid state. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time, but I didn't have a solid state before. So that was good to know.
mhm.
So yes, I would say Second Source is a great one too. I haven't been to them since I did You Break, I Fix, but they're good.
I didn't realize they had moved. I thought they went out of business because I didn't see them out on Route 3 anymore. And then I happened to stumble on them recently one time when I was going over towards the Government Services Building because they're right there at the corner of well, whatever those two streets are over there right by the Government Service, where you come out of the Government Services Building. But I realized, oh, there they are now. So I may just stop in there and talk to them and see if they have any suggestions.
I'd be curious.
Please keep us posted on this saga.
I know, it's like it never ends, right, Bob? I'll let you know
thought
in
it was
September when you
interesting, the
guys
use
get
of
home
solid
from
state.
Chautauqua.
However, that's defined.
Tune in next week for the adventure of Doggy.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
But I would say Bev's issue would be a great example of one of the reasons to do a backup pretty recent. So you can, if you do that, it's a real quick thing to do. That hopefully will resolve it. but I'm looking to see what a standard state computer is because I don't know that either.
Didn't you say solid state?
Solid state, yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, a lot of the new hard drives are solid state rather than the old ones that had the moving parts in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're
mine
That
just
had
is.
like,
an actual disk that rotated.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're like digital hard drives now.
Yes, that's what
Right.
it says.
But the
So-
rest of the, you have to go way back. I'm sure laptops were ever not solid state otherwise. I mean, I go back to discrete components, which is pretty far back before integrated circuits.
Whoa.
And anyway, just some history. It's
I have an unrelated question. I did update my Zoom and I noticed a couple new things here. Where we used to have a little block that said leave this meeting. Now down in the lower right corner, there's a person going out a door and it says leave. And there's also an entry that says AI companion down in the bottom tray.
Yep.
Is that something to worry about?
That's been there for a while. At least on mine, it's been there for a while. It just is mine's orange now, so
This is orange, yes.
so it stands out more. But it's one of those you don't need to worry about it. If we say hit the summary button, I could use it to take notes of what we're talking about, so I don't have to use my memory. But I have not ever used it, and I don't see a reason you would either, but unless you wanted it to take notes.
And then there's one on the far right that says dog pen. If you have pop-up dogs, put them in here.
I don't have that one.
I just made that up. Don't believe that. I just made it up.
Thanks, Bob. I hope it works. I gotta do the upgrade so I can get that one.
Oh, that's really funny.
Oh,
Bev, if it's not on your computer,
No,
I'll send it over here to mine and I'll put it in the pen.
okay.
okay. You can have it.
Well, related to Zoom, I went online last night to try to upgrade my Zoom. And I've done it before, but I couldn't figure out how to do it this time. I wasn't getting anything. And Bob upgraded his, so I asked him how he did it, and he said, well, I had trouble and I just kept clicking on everything and I did it, but I don't know how I did it. So he was no help.
Very scientific, Bob.
Yes.
If you open the app that's, the pop-up window with the 4 buttons, and it should have the schedule of your upcoming meetings. In the top right corner, you should see either a photo of you or your initials. And if you click that corner initial thing, it will give you options of things to do. One of them should be check for updates. Or you could wait a little bit, and it will just do it automatically when you shut down
Okay.
Zoom or you open Zoom.
I knew it was easy. I just wasn't getting the right click. So that's easy.
Yeah. But it does look quite different than before, so be prepared for that.
Okay. I do have another easy question. I'm sure it's easy. It's connected between my phone and GPS. But mostly on the phone, how do I find out whether I have 4G or 5G connection? Do I have to go to my server for that or
So
my
it will
provider?
depend on where you are based on location, right? So you might be in an area that doesn't have 5G. And your model might not even have 5G compatible.
Yeah, I have a track phone, so I don't know.
I don't
whether
think
it's-
yours will have 5G.
But it's a-
So,
Apple phone.
Yeah, it's an Apple phone, but it's through,
it's an
track
SE,
phone.
right. It's
and I
a,
didn't even know what to ask for. You know, do I text them and say, do I have 4G or 5G? Is that the terminology to use?
mhm.
Okay.
Mine, at the top corner of my phone where it's got the battery life and the Wi-Fi connection, and then the bars of service. That will, if I'm in a 5G area, say 5G or 5GE, which is the like almost the 5G, or if it doesn't, I just assume that it's not 5G or 4G. 3G is pretty much phased out at this point,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everything would be 4G if you're not.
Okay, I have at least 4G.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay,
depends on location too.
we have to get our GPS map updated. And my sister has the same car and she also has an iPhone, and she was able to get a really neat feature on hers, which I would like, but I think she had to go through Apple and the dealer back and forth for a long time before they finally were able to figure that one out.
Is this
So I
the
have to-
car GPS?
Well, it's Apple through Apple Play.
Mm,
So it's a different, you have TomTom on the manufacturer GPS, but she's through Apple Play.
mm.
She has mock-up buildings and traffic lights and everything shows on her
Mm-hmm.
map, which would be a nice feature.
So do you still have the little like TomTom box that you like put on the windshield, or is it embedded
It's embedded.
car
Mhm.
On the car
And-
screen.
On the car screen, yeah, car
on the
screen.
car
And,
screen? And you
and I can
connect your
choose to use
phone?
that, or I can choose to use that or the Apple Play. Bob would only be able to use the embedded one,
Mm-hmm.
unless I
Yeah.
give him permission.
Yeah. I recently switched. I was a Waze user for my GPS. I recently switched back to Apple Maps. I find they show you in 3D model what lane to be in. So like if you're going up King of Prussia and you've got like 6 lanes, um they tell you specifically what lane to be in, which I find really helpful.
My
So-
Waze does that.
So-
Yeah, so does mine.
It
Yeah.
Waze didn't do it as impressive as the
Okay.
Apple Maps, unless they just rolled it out in the last month because
But does Apple Maps show you where the police are?
yes,
They do.
not as well as Waze. Waze does it better, I think. I
Right.
think they do it faster because you can't report it yourself.
The police were trying to stop that. I don't know
On
who the
Waze?
police are, but I mean, there was news reports that they were unhappy with that. And when Google Maps took over Waze, I thought maybe they might kill it, but
Mm-hmm.
not so far.
Oh, Google Maps, or Waze does Google Maps now,
Yeah, well, they're owned by Google.
owned by,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
If-
Google now lets you report police activity if I have done that correctly. I'm pretty sure that was a feature they stole from Waze and added to Google Maps.
I'm wouldn't be surprised if the two don't become one.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
you're living a good and righteous life, you should not have to worry about it. Yeah.
I know yesterday when I was using Apple Maps, it told me there was a speed check alert too. So,
Yeah.
That's
I've
because
gotten
you
it
were going
Waze.
85 miles an hour, Lynn.
no, I was going 100.
Oh, okay. hurrying to get to that doctor's appointment, right?
Yep. Yep. Such a long way, you know. Speed it along. Yeah. So it's interesting they're fighting against it. It makes sense.
Mhm.
But
It's, I had a situation with my phone that was working, our Waze was working fine. Then all of a sudden it stopped and I had to hardwire the phone because I have a wireless situation in my car. So I had to hardwire my phone to get, what do you call it? Auto, the
Apple Play, CarPlay.
car, no, what's it called? It's something auto that runs Waze for you.
Autoplay.
Anyway, I had to hardwire it again to get it to start up. So I somehow or another it got dropped. And that's the only way I could get Waze to run again.
Wonder if there's a software update on the car you need to do.
There was an update on my phone, and I'm thinking that's what caused it.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
So there's probably the car manufacturer needs to add something to their software so they're compatible again.
right.
I'm sure it's coming. But yeah, these
It's
cars.
Android Auto is what I was, the name I was trying to remember.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Other tech questions you guys have? Concerns?
Jumping to TVs, we've had
Oh, big
we've
jump.
had a sign, a message that periodically pops up on our TV. We have LG.
Mhm.
Says this, and it shows like an HDMI cable. The screen goes blank. Well, it's green, but the picture disappears and the audio. And it shows the HDMI cable. And then it says this app will now restart to free up more memory. And we have no idea what app it is or what memory they think we need. And we've played around with it and played around with it. And we've sort of found out that if we just leave the room and leave the TV on, that it apparently frees up the memory because the TV comes back on. But we don't know if we have no idea what's going on. And maybe it's sort of like Bev's dog, except that we can't make it disappear as quickly.
Yeah. Do you have a HDMI plugged into the back of the TV to
She should.
We have a plug, but it apparently doesn't work because we've tried making a hardwire connection between my laptop and the TV, and it doesn't work.
That's a separate HDMI plug.
Do you have
There
an
is an
HDMI
HDMI
plug
that goes to the
cable box?
set-top
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, there should be one of them.
And if you have a DVD player, there should be an HDMI that goes to the DVD player.
It goes to a phono cable.
Yeah. So either your cable box is now using more RAM and your TV doesn't have enough to run it. That's my guess is what happened.
Because our box is getting full, but we didn't want to call Verizon because they'd probably want to sell us a new box, and then we lose all the things we have saved on it.
Oh yeah, if you're saving recordings of TV shows and stuff, I bet that's what it is.
Okay.
So I could be wrong, but
Yeah, all we have is cables, so we save our favorite TV shows and movies so that when there's nothing on, we can go back and watch those.
That could be it. It says it's 82% full.
Oh,
That's probably what it is.
yeah.
You should stay home tonight and watch a few of those so you can delete.
I've got to go to choir and listen to Chuck sing.
And
That's
Bev, I listen
exciting.
to Bev.
Well, I'm
Won't you
not
be
close
surprised
enough to
if
hear
Chuck
her.
isn't there and you wasted it?
He's working on the dog.
Yes, I'm working on the dog.
Walking the dog.
Bev, bring the
walk that
dog
dog.
tonight.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is what you're gonna have to do, unless you want a new TV with more RAM in it.
This one's 10 years old.
Oh, it'll die soon. You'll get a new TV. 10 years is good for one of the new TVs.
Mhm.
Well, we'll wait for that time.
I'd
might be
wait till Black
tomorrow.
Friday when there's sales.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? Reuse, recycle. There are four re's, and one of them is not to buy what you don't need.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle, and
Yes,
Reuse.
our Care of Creation team
Thank
will be
Repurpose.
repurpose.
I think
We're doing the
refuse.
30-day environment.
I think refuse is one, like, don't buy something new if you don't
It
really
sounds
need.
like it.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, Betty Ann.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In this case, it's not a matter of buying something that you don't need. It's just you're buying it before you need it.
Mhm.
Because
Right,
you will need it.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I had a Samsung that we had for, I don't know, 8 years or so. The motherboard died. Well, they don't make the motherboard anymore.
Of course.
No,
Planned
I had to get a new
obsolescence.
TV. I called Samsung service and talked to them, and they came out and looked and said, oh, no, they had me look for certain numbers on the back of it. And they said, oh, we don't make those motherboards anymore.
Motherboards are becoming a thing of the past with miniaturization just
Yeah.
continuing. So
But this one was only about yay big, which isn't that big, but still.
Called planned obsolescence.
Exactly. So you need to go out and buy before it really dies. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck without one.
Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah.
TV.
Then you won't. Then you'll have to go buy something before it goes on sale, or when
Well,
it's not on sale.
the lack of a motherboard speeds things up, by the way. So it's not just obsolescence. It's what killed the connector industry I used to work in. Because connectors slow down stuff.
But you would want to make sure you recycle your TV to a electronic donation store so they can safely dispose and reuse those parts.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
that second source place does recycle, they said. It's on the outside of their door.
Yeah, Staples does, and Best Buy also near
and
us.
recycle
Or a
centers tend
fee.
to do monthly.
Or a fee.
Yeah.
No. I don't think so. At least Best Buy, there's no fee.
Yeah, I've taken a couple of things to Best Buy,
Yeah.
I forget now, but yeah.
They have a big bin and you just put it in and nobody's around to see whether you're doing anything or not.
Was it a TV?
Pardon?
Was it a TV?
No, we've never, TVs we've recycled. We took them to, what's the,
The landfill, Lanchester landfill, I think.
no, the migrant ministry in Kennett Square
Oh,
takes the TVs that work.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do they take tube TVs?
What?
What?
Do they take TVs that run on tubes rather than electronics?
CRTs.
CRTs, right.
Cathode ray tubes.
I think they did, but it was a long time ago. It was
Because I
probably
happen to have
20
one
years ago.
downstairs that just hasn't made it to the dumpster yet because nobody wants them.
The
And-
Lowe's, the Goodwill next to Lowe's in Avondale takes all electronics.
Okay. But
And-
I think with those CRTs, even Best Buy will charge you to get rid of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they're free because I think I asked at some point when I was in there. If it's a flat screen, it's a different story. But because it's a CRT, yeah, it costs money to get rid of them.
Well, they're dangerous if they're not handled properly.
Yeah. And they're heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walk around the neighborhood and there's a neighbor that I don't know. I think he's been renting the house from someone who plans to come back for a couple of years. And clearly he's been cleaning out lately. And whenever the last rain was, since the day after that, he's had two great big thick TVs out there with big free signs on them. And I thought, if he ever comes outside that house, I need to tell him that's not going to work. They're not going to pick that up for you.
Well, we have bulk pickups at the end of each month, and they will take it, you know, when they come get it, but it is still working.
Mhm.
So
And I know recycle centers do monthly or they do quarterly or something, electronic only drop off, so they'll safely dispose of electronics.
but I don't think CRTs are considered electronic.
There are elements in the flat screens that can be reclaimed.
But this isn't a
So-
flat screen.
Right.
If you are shopping for new TVs and things, they do make ones that focus on eco-friendly and time savers and things like that. So you can do research if you are wanting to be a climate conscious, to look for those kind of things. And it might burn less electricity, even the newer technologies, than your current models. So things to think about. Hope the challenge is going successfully for you guys. Okay. Other
Do you
questions?
have any comment on my
Yes. Do you want to dive
enlarged,
into?
apps?
Do you want to share your screen and we'll take a look at that? It should be pretty quick and easy.
Hmm.
Bob,
Famous last words.
Bob,
Consider the source of that comment.
I always put a disclaimer on everything. Bob's computer, he now has large icons he wants to make smaller.
Ooh.
All of a sudden, all these apps just grew by 150%. I mean, they're huge.
They realized you were getting older, Bob, and probably needed better eyesight.
So my first thought is, if you right click your desktop where the picture is there a settings? Is there anything if you right click there?
Display settings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or view, actually view. You can minimize that because we might need to go back to it. Hit that view, the first one. And then medium or small. And then click on that.
Oh, look at that.
I'd
Now they're
go-
really small.
Where are they?
I think I'd go with medium, Bob.
Just gonna
Now
say,
you
I think
can't
I
see 'em.
medium.
Well,
What icons?
You could also sort them by alphabetical order or something if
Well,
you
that's
want
better.
to.
Oh, really?
So if you right click and sort, there was a sort button. Name, size, type, date modified. So for those of you who are PC people.
They're alphabetical now. And I can see them.
Oh,
Can you see them, Chuck?
What icons? I can see them, but frankly, I'd use the big ones.
This person here on the sidewalk has not moved in 5 days.
And they're tired. They're waiting for the dog.
I'm stopped sharing.
I was trying to figure out where that location was. Thank
You
you,
have
Bob.
a choice of two. Is it Longwood or Swarthmore College?
Is it your picture?
Swarthmore College.
I would guess Swarthmore. I don't,
I think it's Swarthmore.
Swarthmore.
Yeah, it didn't look like Longwood to me.
know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I like those easy ones.
How did it happen in the first place?
It thought you were getting older, I guess.
Well, I am.
It-
Bob,
always
you're
say
getting
birthday.
slammed today.
Yeah, I can take it. I've been around enough years to be able to take it.
There was probably an update that did something funky. That's
Yeah.
my guess. But I don't know that.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Any other questions before we break for the day?
Well, I
Marty?
have one other that's sort of a personal me and you then.
Okay.
My earbuds